Today we'll practice our watercolor flowers and leaves and create a beautiful floral pop-up card that is perfect for your Valentine. Hi guys, what's up? My name is Shada, and on this channel I create art tutorials for the absolute beginner with a focus on encouraging the artist in all of us. And today we are 2 weeks out from Valentine's Day, so I have a little Valentine's card project that I think you're really gonna like. It would be great for any occasion. Let me just show you. We're going to create this super sweet watercolor floral pop-up card. Really simple on the front, and then ta-da! It's so cute. It looks quite intricate, I think, but it's actually an easy project, and it's great for the beginner watercolorist because you can practice all your flowers and leaves and then just cut out and use the ones that you're really happy with. With that said, let's get started. And patrons of the channel, be sure to check out Patreon after today's video because you can download and print a page of my digital floral drawings so that you can cut them out and use them for your own pop-up card. Sign up on my Patreon site to become part of my YouTube channel bonus content club and receive weekly content like this printable for just $2 a month. Okay, let's start our card. I'm beginning with the process of painting all the florals, so I have a little piece of hot pressed paper cut here. You could use cold pressed. I'm just setting it on a sketch pad. It makes a nice painting surface. And then I have a small tin of Mungyo watercolors. I am using a number 2 sable hair round brush, a pointed round brush, nice big belly to hold paint, but it comes to a very fine point. But you don't need any special supplies for this. Use any little set of paints that you might have on hand. This pop-up card also works really well if you want to do it in marker or pencil crayon, anything goes. And what I'm going to do is I'm using a relatively small piece of paper here, just an offcut, and I'm going to paint a whole bunch of berries and flowers and leaves. As I said in the intro, this is a great way to practice. You could use a very large piece of paper and just paint a whole bunch of different leaves, a whole bunch of different flowers, paint twigs, paint branches, and be free of the stress of getting it perfect because any flower or leaf that you're not happy with, you don't have to use on the final card. Now I'm doing a very warm color palette today, sort of feminine. I think it's nice for Valentine's Day. I'm using a lot of rich purples, dark pinks. I'll do a bit of peach and mustard and brown. Did I already say brown? And I think this color palette would also be just as lovely for Mother's Day. I think this would be a great card for Mother's Day because it does take a certain amount of work, especially to cut out all the flowers. So that would be great for Mom. You can see me painting my simple flowers here, just doing 3 or 4 or 5 petals, keeping everything just very basic and perfectly imperfect. These do not have to be detailed. They do not have to be a time-consuming botanical. Just keep it easy. And a tip if you're doing a color palette similar to mine is to mix a little bit of brown into your purples and pinks. It just helps take them from, very bright and maybe super feminine to a little more sophisticated and a little more muted. Some of my flowers have started to dry, and so I am using a dark brown to add some dotting or some lines in the center to give the look of the stamen in the middle of the flower. At this point, I want to add that mustard color into my color palette. It's a good thing to think about the color palette of your card ahead of time. Are you going to follow along with mine and do these purples and pinks and browns with a bit of mustard and green? Or are you going to you could do primary colors, you could do just blue or just purple, do a singular color. So give it a little bit of thought so that it doesn't just turn into a big rainbow. Unless you want a big rainbow, that's nice too. And as your flowers and leaves begin to dry, you can add more detail as I did with the stamen or add a bit of veining on the leaves. And then that's what mine looks like all done. I've squeezed a whole lot of flowers and leaves onto this tiny piece of paper, and now I am ready to do the very tedious task of cutting all of them out. We'll get started with that, and then through the magic of YouTube, I am all done and all of the flowers and leaves are cut out and ready for use on my pop-up card. For the card today, what I've done is just taken a piece of cold pressed watercolor paper and cut it down to size and folded it in half. This is a 4x6 card, or about 14 by 10 centimeters. So a standard size. And then you'll also need a little rectangle of cardstock, and this is about 3 by 5 inches, although it doesn't need to be exactly that. And this is going to be our little accordion. This will form the steps for our flowers to sit on. So what I'm doing is just folding it in about half an inch or just over a centimeter. And then we flip it over, make a good fold. Then you're going to flip it over and make another fold, just like you're making a fan or an accordion. This is something you've probably done before. If you're crafty, flip it over again, make that fold. And you can use your ruler there if you are having trouble getting the folds nice and crisp and tight. And there it is, all ready to go. You can see the one end is a little longer, and that's fine. I'm just going to cut off the excess so that the steps are all even, and now that is ready. Let's put it on the card so you can see how it's going to work. It just sits like that and it will glue to each side of the card. If yours isn't sitting properly, just flip it over, and I'll actually even mark on mine. This is the front side, so I'll put a little X there and that'll glue in easily. Now before we glue it in, I want to do one other thing, and this is optional. I'm going to make 2 little cuts along one of the folds on the wrong side. Then we flip it back over to the right side, and we're going to punch out that little area there. So now you can see, if my thumb's not in the way, that we have this extra level. So instead of just the 3 levels for the flowers to sit on, we've created a little extra dimension, and you can do as many of those as you like. I'm going to do 1 on each level to give me just a little bit extra dimension for the florals. Then when you're done that, we're going to glue this in. You can kind of get a sense for where you should glue it in by placing it and having a look at where how it sits when all the steps are level. And then to glue the other side, you want to just fold it down. So I'm going to place some glue on there, and then I'll hold it down, and then oops, I got too much glue on there. And then we just press it down like that. So we want it to sit properly when the card is folded, so that's how you glue it. It's pretty simple and straightforward. And now that we are done all of the architectural work of this project or this craft, we are going to have a little bit of fun and start gluing in all these flowers. You can see some will sit on the back of each step, others will sit on those little extra parts that we punched out, and you don't want to forget about gluing a whole bunch of flowers along the back of the card as well, because that will create this dramatic sort of flourish of flowers. At times I found it helpful to have some tweezers to help me place the flowers and get them glued on there. But that's it. I know I skipped through the gluing process a bit. My head was in front of the camera for most of it, but that is my pop-up card. The big flourish, almost like a rainbow of flowers, just pops up. It's colorful, it's impactful, and I'm so pleased with this project. All that's left to do now is put a little something on the front of our card. Now, full disclosure, I should definitely have done this first, because if you messed up at this point, you'd be quite upset about it. But grab a bigger brush and some clean water, and we'll go back to our paint palette. And I'm just mixing up a very light pink with lots of water in it. And then I'm taking this larger round brush and just making a big splotchy area of light pink. I might put just a little extra darker pigment around the edges of my big blob or splotch. And then I let that dry completely. Took about 15-20 minutes. And now all I want to do is write "To My Valentine" on the front. So keep the message simple. If you have a pretty good hand lettering, just do a nice cursive or a simple print. And we'll do it first in pencil, then go over it in pen. And then on the inside, I'm going to write something just equally simple like "Be Mine." And there we go. Our Valentine is all done. The pop-up flowers I just think are so sweet, and if you are giving this to someone special, they're going to feel special because it's just such a nice little project, isn't it? Remember, you can do the watercolor cover or the front of the card first. That would have been smart on my part. You don't have to leave it till the end, but that is the card all done. Thank you guys for watching. Patrons, don't forget to go and get your printable so you can skip half of this project and just do the cutting, the fun part. And guys, I will see you soon with a new tutorial. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button.